What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Larry, aka VP Blocker. Please watch the whole video through to the end. I'm going to try to make them short from now on because I know a lot of you guys and girls have attention spans of walnuts and you can't sit through a long video. I get it. Okay. So the reason why I made this video is 5 mistakes ordinary investors make. I've made these mistakes. A lot of people tend to make these mistakes when they just get into investing. And I'm making this video to try to help a lot of you out where you don't make the mistakes I made in the beginning when I started investing. Now, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. Small channel trying to grow it. Now, when reading Benjamin Graham's book, The Intelligent Investor, I recommend a lot of people listen to it, read it, even to get the audio book, because you won't make these mistakes. I started investing and then I read the book and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I really messed up. So here's something he said in his book that was amazing. He said, just because Mr. Market comes knocking at your door, that doesn't mean you have to do business with him. Meaning the stock market. And he gave an analogy. He said, imagine a certifiable lunatic knocked on your door 5 days a week from 9:30 to 4 o'clock, and he had over 5,000 stocks that he wanted to sell you, and he wanted you to look at every one of them and buy the best one. You would kindly say no thank you, close the door, and go, what the hell is that guy smoking? Now, that's how the stock market is, and you guys are thumbing through Robinhood and E-Trade and Charles Schwab and all these brokerage accounts trying to figure out the best stock. It's almost impossible. Now, I've gotten lucky with one or two. That went up and I made some quick cash on it, but it wasn't sustained amount. Like, it wasn't a lot of cash. It wasn't like I had 100,000 shares. I had 100 shares, 500 shares. It wasn't life-changing money. A lot of people are jumping in and out and they're gambling. Now, when you're looking at stocks, okay, I know what a lot of people are doing, and I wrote it down. What a lot of people are doing is they're looking at SPACs and startups. Do you know what a SPAC and a startup is? When they give an initial public offering, say at $100, you think you're getting a good deal, and everybody wants to buy into those stocks because they think it's going to be the next Tesla, the next Microsoft, or the next Apple, because we know we missed the first Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Intel. So we want to be the first ones on board. What you don't understand is we are not the first ones on board. Those shares that are, say, $50 or $100, insiders got them for $3, $4, $5. Their big friends in hedge funds got them 5-6 years ago when like as true startups, and they go, listen, in 5-6 years, this is going to go public at $5, $6 a share. Now, when they put it on for $100 or $50 a share, what happens to it? The stock price flies up like a bottle rocket. It always happens. Flies up like a bottle rocket, and then what do bottle rockets do after they burn out? They come crashing back down to earth. Now, you get left holding the bag. All those insiders and CEOs and all those, and the friends of the CEOs that they had dinner parties and they got told these stocks and all this stuff, you're not special. They're special. Okay? They got the good price, $5, $6. They bought 500,000 shares, 100,000 shares, and they sold out and became instant multimillionaires, and you get left holding the bag because now that stock that you bought for $100, in a year or two, I guarantee you it's going to be worth $25, $30. If you do want to invest in a startup, give it 1 or 2 years. Let them bring some earnings in. Show how they're making money. You got to invest in stocks that make money. If a stock doesn't make money, why are you investing in it? That's the whole name of the game. Growth. That's what PayPal and Intel and them are having problems with, growth. They're still making billions of dollars, and Netflix still making billions of dollars, but they said, listen, we're not going to grow at 6%, we're going to grow at 3%. Sell, sell, sell. Everyone's getting out. They're still making money. The reason why these companies grew in the past 2 years is because interest rates were low, money was cheap, and there was a lot of money pumped into the economy, and everyone threw it into the stock market. Now, for example, your DWAC fund. Your DWAC fund literally says on Yahoo Finance they have 0 workers, they don't have any business, and people are investing in them. They don't have a business, and they don't have no workers. So what are they doing? They're not going to have an earnings report. Their earnings is your money. So let that sink in with SPACs and startups. You're better off buying good companies that have been around 40, 50, 60, 70 years that pay dividends. Okay? I emphasize this all the time. You can't hide dividends. If a company misses a dividend, they're in trouble. Look what happened to Evergrande. They missed one payment and people went, oh yeah, there's some problems in-house. Now, you got companies like Microsoft that have been around 20, 30 years. They pay dividends and they have constant growth. Okay? Dividends and constant growth. When you have a startup, there is no growth. Why invest in something that might not ever happen? So that's number one. Number two, investing in cheap biotech and technology stocks, looking at the past history, thinking they're going to go back to where they were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. If a stock is $5, $3, $2, $1, $6, and I've made this mistake too, and it once was $200, $150, do you think you're the only one that sees that? You got to look at what happened for that company to crash. It could have been the dot-com bubble and they never took off. It could have been financial problems. It could have been lying with the bookkeeping and all that stuff. It's one thing if the CEO gets caught cheating on his wife. You know what I'm saying? He gets locked up for having a gun. He beat his girl up or something that it was personal but didn't affect the business. That's one thing. That could be a buying opportunity. But if they slowly have came down from $100 or $20 or $30, $40, $50, that could have been a SPAC that I was talking about. It came out, people bought it here, and then over time they were like, oh, this is a turd. It's a dud. And they sold out, and you think it's going to go back up. They don't pay a dividend. A lot of people don't know how to read earnings reports and, and balance sheets. The best thing you can do is buy a simple total stock market index fund and a total international fund. That's why a lot of your old heads say, do you really have time to be sitting here going through all these stocks when you can buy the total stock market index fund that holds that little piece of crap stock that you want, but also holds Apple and Microsoft? Okay. You get a lot of these funds like the ARK fund. Has so many speculative companies in it that don't even have earnings yet. They haven't produced anything, but Cathie Wood thinks she's the difference maker. Many hedge fund managers have come and gone. Come and gone. And who's your G's that are still around? Your Warren Buffetts, your Charlie Mungers, your Peter Lynch's. They buy companies that produce stuff, not speculative, all tech stocks. Why would you buy Cathie Wood stock, her ETFs, with all this speculative growth stuff at 0.075 and pay all that money for that when you can get a total stock market or an S&P 500 that holds Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, PayPal, Amazon, all your big tech stuff anyway, Intel, for 0.02%. So let that sink in. Do what you want, but in 5, 10, 15 years, I know where my money will be. I mean, I buy good growth funds and I buy dividend stocks. Clorox, Heinz ketchup, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 3M, stuff that's been around when my parents were born. So, God rest my mom's soul, stuff that was started when she was born. So, let that sink in. Number 3, penny stocks. You're buying lottery tickets. You may make a little bit of money, but you're going to get burned on a lot of them too. And the Wolf of Wall Street, what do you think those guys are doing? When he was sitting there like, he's stroking the thing. They're stroking you. That was a movie on how Jordan Belfort made his money, ripping people off, selling stocks and stuff to your hardworking people as he's buying jets and boats and yachts and dating the beautiful women and taking the Quaaludes and the Coke and partying and spending $25,000 on dinner. That's your money on those penny stocks. Those people cash out and they disappear. You never see them again. They showed you the picture of the penny stock. It was a little garage with like Aerotine space something on it. That's what penny stocks are. They're little crappy startups. Guess what? You can get those little crappy startups in the total stock market index fund. Okay? Number 4, stocks that once were hot, meaning not your Intels and your big companies that pay growth and they're taking a little, like that they take in like a dip because, there was some ethnic comments made, some racial comments, some sexual assault, whatever. No, none of that crap. That doesn't take the underlying value from what the company's producing. That's a few idiots that got caught with their hand in a cookie jar. They're getting in trouble. What they do is the shareholders replace those idiots and put new faces of the company up because they know that the company still produces. Look what's going on with Facebook, aka Meta. The whistleblower called out Mark Zuckerberg, and now all of a sudden it's Meta, it's Metaverse. He has to change the face of the company. He has to make it more diverse now because there was racism, sexism, there was promoting hate and all that. So now he's trying to go more middle of the road where we can all be together. Okay, that could be a buying opportunity. Big billion-dollar companies, not companies with market caps of $20 million. Those are $20 million market caps. But a lot of those shares are held by insiders and CEOs that will sell. They will sell eventually because that's how they make their money. You can go back into history and say, or even look, if the CEO is constantly selling shares and insiders are constantly selling shares and you're constantly buying shares, that means they don't have faith in their own company. They're taking money out. That's a money grab. There are a lot of bad people running companies. So that's number 4. Not spending money on really good companies because they're too expensive. When you're buying what the person is selling. You buy a Mercedes because I'm not saying it's a better car, but it's more luxury. Why would you buy a $2 biotech company that has 10 workers when you can buy AbbVie that has 25,000 plus workers, that have commercials of big medicines that have changed our health and how we live? You'll buy a little medical company that is $1.25 because it's cheap. And I can buy 1,000 of them. And if it goes to 100, I'll have $100,000. Come on. But then you won't invest in Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, or like Cardinal Healthcare or all these big pharmaceutical companies. Like, you'll invest in that, but you won't invest in this because the price is too much and you can only get 2 or 3 shares. Those 2 or 3 shares will outperform that 1,000. And I know what people are saying. All I got to do is hit it one time. Yeah, hit the lottery one time too. Now, hold it for longer than a year. You got to hold stocks longer. You got to hold stocks longer than a year. If you don't hold them longer than a year, you're going to pay short-term capital gains on it. You want to pay 20%. That's the most they can tax you. If your stock goes from, a good stock goes from $100,000 to $1 million and you held it longer than a year, they can only charge you 20% on that. If you hold a stock and it goes up from 100,000 to $1 million, now sometimes it's worth to do that. If you don't think it's going to keep going up or greed sets in and you keep holding it and it ends up crashing, that's another decision you got to make that's hard. If something goes up from 100,000 to $1 million, how do you not cash out and say, yo, I'm good now? But guess what? Now you're going to pay short-term capital gains and it's going to be at like 37% or whatever tax bracket you're in. So that's what people need to take accountability, all the physics and all the math. These people have some of the best physics, MIT mathematicians working on their side, and you think you're going to beat them. You're a garbage man. You're a policeman. You're a fireman. You're a nurse. You're a teacher. You Like, you think you're going to beat these people. You're not. One or two of your stocks may blow up, but the rest of them will fail eventually within that year. Just you got to keep it within that year. If you sell it, you got to pay more higher taxes. That's why you're better off just buying. If you don't want to do the research on stocks, good companies, buy a total stock market fund, a S&P 500 fund. If you like tech, Vanguard. I'm a small channel. I don't get no money for saying Vanguard. I have Vanguard. They got the information technology fund. That's all your tech companies. They haven't weighted out where your best companies are at top and your smaller companies are down here. And they do everything for you. You don't want to be sitting there picking stocks every day. You want a dollar cost average every week, every month, every quarter, every year. I don't sit there and look at the stock market every day. I don't know what it does every day. I could care less. I have alerts set up where if it drops 5% or 10%, I buy more dividend stocks. But other than that, I dollar cost average in my index funds. So no regrets, straight to the point. Hope that helps. Have a great weekend. See you soon.